The storm isn't coming to Frasers Ridge anymore. It's already here. And this time, it's not just the war knocking at the door. It's betrayal, secrets, and a truth so dangerous it could destroy everything Jamie Fraser has spent his life protecting. Imagine standing in your own home, knowing the enemy might already be inside, smiling, eating at your table, pretending to be a friend. That's the chilling reality building in Outlander Season 8, Episode 3, and the most terrifying part is that Jamie can feel it coming, but he doesn't yet know where the strike will land. The episode wastes no time throwing us back into the emotional chaos left behind after the devastating events of the previous chapter, where loss and hope collided in the most brutal way. Amy's tragic death still hangs over the ridge like a shadow that refuses to lift, reminding everyone that survival in this world is never guaranteed, no matter how strong you are. At the same time, the birth of a new child should have brought peace, but instead it feels like a fragile light flickering in a storm that's only getting worse. And right at the center of all of this stands Jamie, carrying a burden that is slowly breaking him from the inside. The prophecy of his death is no longer just a distant fear or a story whispered in the dark. It has become something real, something that is shaping every decision he makes, even the ones he refuses to admit out loud. What makes this even more intense is the way Jamie is choosing to deal with it, or rather, the way he's choosing not to. Instead of sharing the truth with Claire, the one person who has stood beside him through time, war, and impossible odds, he is building a wall of silence, convincing himself that protecting her means keeping her in the dark. But that silence is already starting to crack their bond, and the trailer makes it painfully clear that Claire can feel it. When she looks at him and says, "You can't love someone if you won't forgive them," it doesn't just feel like a line, it feels like a warning, a breaking point that's getting closer with every passing moment, and the question becomes impossible to ignore. Is Jamie trying to protect Claire, or is he preparing her for a future without him? Just as this emotional tension reaches its peak, the ridge is shaken by the arrival of a desperate new neighbor, someone who claims to need help but carries an energy that immediately feels wrong. In a world like this, no one arrives without a reason, and Jamie knows that better than anyone. The way he confronts the situation tells you everything you need to know about where his mindset is right now. His warning is cold, controlled, and filled with quiet rage as he makes it clear that he will not tolerate anything that threatens his home. But beneath that strength is fear, not fear of battle, but fear of making the wrong choice at the wrong time. Because if this new arrival is hiding something and Jamie lets them in, he could be inviting danger directly into the heart of his family. At the same time, whispers of a false ally begin to spread, turning suspicion into something much more dangerous. Trust, which has always been the foundation of the ridge, starts to feel like a weakness instead of a strength. Every conversation feels loaded, every glance feels like it could be hiding something, and for the first time it becomes clear that the greatest threat might not be the British Army marching closer, but the possibility that someone within their circle is not who they claim to be. And as Jamie stands at the center of it all, trying to hold everything together, one terrifying thought begins to take shape. What if the choice he's about to make to protect his people is the very thing that destroys them? The tension doesn't explode all at once. It tightens slowly, like a rope pulling tighter around Frasers Ridge until there's no room left to breathe. And right in the middle of that pressure stands Jamie, a man who has faced war, torture, and death before, but has never looked more uncertain about the path ahead. Because this time, the enemy isn't clear, and the battlefield isn't far away. It's right here, inside his own home, his own people, his own decisions. As suspicion begins to spread across the ridge, the idea of a false ally stops being a rumor and starts feeling like a ticking time bomb. Every face becomes a question mark. Every act of kindness feels like it could be hiding something darker underneath. And what makes it even more dangerous is that Jamie doesn't have the luxury of waiting for proof. He has to act, and he knows that whatever choice he makes next will come with consequences he might not be able to undo. This is where the story shifts from fear to action, and it's clear that Jamie is preparing to make a move that could change everything. When he admits that he may do something he regrets, it lands like a warning, not just to the people around him, but to the audience watching. Because we know what that means. It means he's ready to cross a line he has spent his entire life trying not to cross. And once that line is crossed, there's no going back. At the same time, Claire is no longer standing quietly on the sidelines. She sees the weight Jamie is carrying, the distance growing between them, and she refuses to let it destroy what they have built together. Her strength in this moment is different. It's not about healing wounds or saving lives. It's about confronting the man she loves and forcing him to face the truth he's trying to avoid. Their relationship, which has survived impossible odds, now feels like it's standing on the edge of something fragile. Because love isn't just about protection, it's about honesty. And right now, honesty is the one thing missing between them. And if that doesn't change soon, the cracks will turn into something much harder to fix. Meanwhile, another story quietly builds in the background, one that could collide with everything happening at the Ridge in the most unexpected way. William's investigation into his cousin's mysterious death isn't just a side plot anymore. It's becoming a thread that could unravel secrets far bigger than anyone realizes. The idea that the truth has been hidden, manipulated, or even buried on purpose adds another layer of tension to an already fragile situation. If William uncovers something that connects back to the Ridge, it could force him into a position where loyalty and truth collide, and that kind of conflict never ends peacefully. As all of these threads begin to tighten, the larger shadow of the Revolutionary War continues to creep closer, reminding everyone that no matter how personal their struggles feel, a much bigger storm is coming. Soldiers are moving, alliances are shifting, and the world outside the Ridge is changing faster than anyone can control. And that's what makes this moment so powerful, because it's not just about one decision or one betrayal, it's about a series of choices that are all building toward something bigger, something inevitable. By the time the episode reaches its final moments, one thing becomes painfully clear. Frasers Ridge is no longer a safe haven. It's a battlefield, not just for war, but for trust, loyalty, and survival. Jamie stands at the center of it all, knowing that whatever he does next will define not only his future, but the future of everyone he loves. And the most haunting question of all begins to linger, not whether he can protect the Ridge, but whether the cost of that protection will be something he can live with. Because sometimes the hardest battles aren't the ones you fight with enemies, they're the ones you fight with yourself.